Hello everyone, welcome to 2024. Hey, I'm supposed to have my flying car by now according to the movie Back to the Future, right? Oh well, I guess I'll have to wait a few more years. In the meantime, I'd like to do a year in review and tell you about the adventures and sculpting we had together in 2023, and talk about what's in store for 2024. Ooh, that rhymes. Oh, and by the way, I've left all the links to all the videos from January to December in order in the description box below. Now let's get to the review. The video for January was the Crazy Eightball. I decided to start a new production technique with an emphasis on better video quality, lighting, and editing. I wanted the videos to be entertaining as well as informative. It does, however, take a lot more time and effort, and money, but I think the results are worth it. It was fun learning all the editing tricks with overlays, transitions, and music. It opened up a whole new way of expression for the channel, and I thoroughly enjoyed the process. February sculpture was the Dark Maiden. I had dabbled with Chavant oil-based clay before, and I really wanted to try it again. It's totally different from polymer clay, quite the learning curve. First, I had to remember to heat up the clay a few hours before I started. Then figure out how much work time I had before it hardened again. The best thing about Chavant was that it doesn't always need an armature, which allows you more freedom to change things as you go. I could just keep adding more clay without concerning myself if it would hold up. It was a great experience, and someday I'll work with it again. The subject determines what medium I use, so going forward, we'll see what happens. March was the poor unfortunate soul. I was always interested in Ursula's condemned soul garden. Being a victim of her treachery, I wondered how they felt being her prisoner. Each one had their own design and personality, and they all looked like they were suffering greatly. This was right up my alley, so I had to give it a try. I remember trying to do this without an armature on his head, and I ended up having to cut it off and resculpt it. I also enjoyed making a little intro with our cat Ringo. He played his part very well, and now he's demanding more treats for his Oscar-winning performance. April's project was the Gloomy Balloon. We had an extraordinary amount of rain and snow in 2023, and I had an idea to sculpt rain. The whole concept of just rain, cold, and wet and gloom seemed kind of boring. I needed something else to convey sadness. What better way to express that than with a balloon running out of helium, slowly sinking, weighed down by the slow leak and water splashing over him? This project was very, very delicate, and I had to be conscious of its weight and balance. I think I was able to capture the essence of that sadness and gloom I was looking for, and I also enjoyed choosing all the music selections for this piece. The month of May gave us Cousin It. I had a lot of fun doing this one. I wanted him to look like he did on the Addams Family TV show in black and white. I thought he'd be a simple project, but no. Making the hair strands and applying them to his body was very hard to do without squishing them. And while I was painting him, I wished that I had just used gray polymer clay. It took so many coats to cover him. My wife also made her debut, making Cousin It a beautiful carpet to stand on with Ringo by her side lending a hand, or more likely, a paw. This was also the first time I used a camera slider for the glamour shots. I kind of overused it a bit, but it was still a lot of fun to do. June 2023. June was a very challenging time. We had a lot going on with home repairs and car repairs, insurance, with all kinds of adulting troubles. I didn't think I'd have time to do a video. YouTube does not wait for life's inconveniences. So I had previously recorded this sculpture, the Sword in the Crescent Moon, but I never finished it. I said, well, maybe I can do something with it. And since I was already in a tight spot anyway, I gave it a try. And you know, I really liked the way it turned out. And I learned never to underestimate the power of old video footage. You never know, you just might have a gem right in front of you. Halloween in July. I just couldn't wait for Halloween to arrive so I could make my version of Jack Skellington. I don't think there's a sculptor alive that isn't inspired by Tim Burton's characters. This was the first time I used the light-absorbing black paint. I used it on his eyes, which made all the detail work disappear. It was an amazing paint, and I can't recommend it enough. I also learned the difference between vertebrae and vertebra. And I think we finally answered the question of what Jack's bow tie is. It is definitely a bat cat. Or was it a cat bat? Anyway, it's definitely one of those, and I'm really glad we finally cleared that up. I was glad to finally create one of my favorite characters, and I plan on doing Sally someday to make it a complete match. August brought us Deadeye the Shark. This was the first character that I had some kind of backstory on. I believe that having a backstory actually makes it easier to sculpt. I wonder if other sculptors have that feeling. I wanted this guy to have a massive set of teeth and look as ornery as possible. Of course, I'd be ornery too if I had a hook in my eye. I also remember I wanted to use colored clay as well because I knew this piece would be impossible to paint. So I plan on doing more of that in the future. I also enjoyed doing the glamour shots on this video too. It was my very first jump scare. In September, I had another strange story running through my head. What if the roles between the birds and the worms were reversed? Then I found a birdhouse at Hobby Lobby and the story came to life about a worm that grew a set of sharp teeth and woke up at 4 a.m. to eat any unsuspecting victims from his birdhouse trap. Where these ideas come from is a mystery to me. The thought of a bird getting chomped mid-flight, feathers and feet between the worm's teeth was just too funny to me. Don't worry though, no real birds were harmed in the making of this sculpture. For October, I had found an aquarium decoration that I thought would make a cool sculpture base. So I was thinking of a mermaid, siren, or sea serpent, but I didn't want to make it creepy. So I went into full adorable mode. I kind of enjoyed making something out of my comfort zone. I also decided I don't want to box myself into just one type of art. I want to be free to explore different styles. So Scylla was a good way to branch out into a different type of expression. And just to prove to myself that I can do more than just creepy weird stuff. Not that I'm ever going to stop doing the creepy creations, but I can be different as I go through the artistic journey. In November, I was thinking about what to do. One of my subscribers suggested that I do a snail, but in my style. I had a shell that I could use. Then I thought, what if it was a snail-alien hybrid? A Snalien. Ooh, now we've got something. The biggest issue I had with this piece was size. I kept making him too big for his shell, so I finally had to ditch the shell. Now, a snail without a shell is a slug, and that wasn't the plan, because then it would be a slug-alien. That didn't sound right. After much panic because I was short on time, why not have a spaceship for a shell? So that's what I did. This project really took on a life of its own. Sometimes you just have to go where the vision takes you. And finally we arrived to December, where I thought it would be a good idea to see if I could create a sculpture in 24 hours. And I was able to do it with, I believe, 2.5 hours left. It was kind of stressful, I must say, and I will say that I will probably never do another one again. I saw a little Christmas figurine in Hobby Lobby and I said, I have got to try to do this, but give it my own little twist. I decided to give him a mug of hot chocolate and he just had to have Convert tennis shoes. And I also murdered another pasta machine in the process. I'm not allowed to have any more pasta machines in the house. Anyways, this guy was a lot of fun to do and I thought it was a great way to end out a wonderful year. Well, my friends, I think we can call 2023 a wrap. And I just want to take a moment here to tell all of my subscribers, thank you so much. You guys mean the world to me, and I would not be able to keep going with this channel without your encouragement and support. I'm so thankful and blessed that you stick around and you guys enjoy the work that I do, because I really enjoy doing it for you. So, without getting too mushy and too sentimental, I would just like to wish each and every one of you, subscribers and even non-subscribers, the best 2024 anybody could ever have. I wish you all the best. You all take care, and we'll see you next time on Clay Formations.